Yeah, we're going live. We're live. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Welcome
Riley's
to
back.
the Tuesday edition of the Huddle. Here we are, Nevada Nick. We had some issues last night, so we're going to do a little recap and
Yeah, I figured it's better anyway. We
get
got the
in.
Eagles game tonight. We can
Yeah,
recap the games last night. Talk about some craziness on Sunday, Coach. With obviously, I don't think any of us saw the Lions beating the Cardinals, nor did we see the Saints beating the Bucks.
right.
Even though with the Bucks, obviously you lose Evans, you lose Godwin, and now Godwin out for the year, and then you lose Fournette. Obviously, and look, no matter what, I understand Taysom Hill's a QB, but have I said all year, Coach? Remember, I said the Saints were going to be better than everybody thought.
Yeah,
That's
you're
a good
right.
roster, Coach. That's a good roster. Could you imagine once Michael Thomas gets healthy, if you put in Aaron Rodgers or a Deshaun Watson or whomever, at quarterback for that team?
Absolutely. I mean,
Super Bowl contender.
absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I just don't think that they're going to give up the pieces for those guys. For one of those guys, I just don't see it. But
Right.
because come on, Jameis was playing pretty well before he got hurt.
No, he did, but it was. I mean, obviously with Michael Thomas back, maybe it would have been more. I think they definitely need some more weapons on the outside. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I mean, Jameis was playing well, but with a legit quarterback, man, because Breeze, he was kind of he was past his prime. Breeze was playing in a box. You know what I mean? He really
Yeah.
was. He couldn't throw the ball down the field anymore, and they could be efficient. But when you played really good teams like a Bucks, and look, they still beat them twice in the regular
Right.
season. And look, Jared Cook, they were up 2 scores, and Jared Cook has that fumble. Maybe that game doesn't happen. So, yeah, pretty crazy, Coach. I'm going to pop out real quick, and I'll come right back. Okay.
All right, go do it, man. We'll get going. Nevada Nick got to pop out. That was his bookie probably calling, so we'll have to check in and see what's going on with that. Look, I think the Raiders fans need to pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, you guys, I heard someone say, they beat a bunch of night shift workers at the tire plant, which is, come on, man. Come on, you did. I mean, and you couldn't score more than 16 points against a bunch of night shift workers, at the tire plant. Come on now, and you're going to go to the playoffs. I don't understand how that is. Oh,
Sorry.
there you go. All right, Nevada Nick back in. What was that? Your bookie? Got to make sure your bets are in for tonight.
Eagles game tonight. You know what I mean? Sorry about that, Coach. No, but yeah, I mean, crazy weekend, obviously. I guess let's start with Sunday if that's okay with you.
Sure. I will backtrack. I was getting into the Raiders from last night, but no.
We'll backtrack. That's fine.
All right, that's fine.
I mean, honestly, because look, Coach, as you know, I mean, it kind of sucks for the Browns. I mean, now I don't know if you can blame them for their situation. I don't know exactly what happened, but when you're practicing football and you're around each other, I don't know exactly how the outbreak happened. But, you're talking about a team that was, in the hunt for their division still. And if they win that game, Coach, and go to 8-6, they're right in it, man. They're right in it,
And I just want to say this, okay? Myles Garrett, if you're somebody, you would have stepped up last night against that offensive line. You came up with zeros yesterday.
Yeah.
That was you were supposed to put the team on your back, and carry them. And you came up, you could come up big when they needed you in the fourth quarter. All they had to do was come up with. I mean, geez, they had a big penalty a couple of times to stop that drive for the field goal, but you never came up big at all during that whole game.
Yeah, I mean, he was nicked up a couple of times, and I think he was trying to play. I mean, I agree with you. You need him to make plays, but to me, look, man, the Browns were missing I think 10 starters. To me, Coach, I thought they played well. And, look, for people that and look, I like the Raiders, but if you're realistic, I mean the Raiders, they're still in the hunt, but look how they showed up the last 2 weeks, Coach. Does that remind you of a team that's going to make a playoff run here down the stretch?
No.
No, I mean, look, you got teams like the Colts and Chargers down the stretch. Now, look, this weekend at home against the Broncos without put the house on the skins tonight. Brian, look, I think it's too many points, even with a backup quarterback. I mean, the Redskins defense is pretty good. The Eagles have that slow, methodical type offense with Hurts in there. I think it's too many points, Brian. I agree with you. I think 8.5. I mean, plus, when you're laying that many points, you saw it in the Bucs game. You fall behind early, man. It's really tough to cover 8, 9, 10, 11 points. So I agree with you, Brian. But back to the Raiders, Coach. I mean, you tell me, look, they may beat the Broncos because Teddy Bridgewater's out and Drew Lock. I think you'll admit now, Drew Lock is just, come on, Coach. He looked terrible again. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. So the Raiders got a chance against the Broncos, but I would put my house, my car, my bank account on the fact that they're not going to beat the Colts and Chargers in consecutive weeks.
I agree with that. I agree. Even though I'm out now because I had it 6.5 under. I took the Raiders and under, so now I'm out.
Yeah.
Which kind of pissed me off.
If the Browns were healthy, Coach, you probably wouldn't be out.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be. I'd still be alive.
Browns would have won. That's what I'm saying. And then they'd be playing the Broncos, but I think they're going to get – and I think the Broncos would have beat them too if Teddy Bridgewater was there. That helps a little bit. But look, the Broncos are a good physical team. I mean, so we'll see what happens in that game. But
but look, they got lucky at the beginning of the year with the Ravens and the Dolphins game. The Raiders got lucky with those 2 games. Those should have been losses. And Well,
look, it kind of evened out on the Ravens too. With those 2-point conversions now. Remember I said to you they kind of got lucky. That kind of reverted itself. And one thing, if we could talk about that game, Coach, I have no problem with what John Harbaugh did. That team fought all game. They went for 2. He didn't want to leave it up to a coin flip, I think. I think he thought, listen, our chances are better than 50-50 that we're going to score here. I don't want to leave it to a coin flip. And he knew if Rodgers got the ball, they probably were going to score. And it would be game, set, match.
I agree with that 100%. 100%. Look, he I think, Hundley rushed it because Hollywood was open in the back of the end zone. If he went, just opened his eyes a little bit, but hey, he's a young guy, pressure.
He was Hollywood Brown wide open.
So, but I'm for that. Me, I'm a go for it guy anyway. So I have no fault with that. Juan, I think you're still smoking too much crazy stuff. I don't think Pittsburgh's not winning the AFC. No, come on, you tied Detroit, man. Come on.
Look, Cy, listen, or Juan, they play the Chiefs this week. That's going to be the problem. If they can beat, Steven Seagal. If they can beat the Chiefs, they got a shot because I think they end the year with the Ravens, and they're banged up. But look, too, Coach, with Huntley, he was going to the guy who was giving it to him all night. Andrews had more than half of his yards. He had Hollywood Brown though open for the 2-point conversion. But look, people who are saying that, look, I had the Packers money line. Well, it wasn't money line. It was basically -0.5 and pick to complete a tease. And I wasn't worried even if they got it because I had all faith Aaron Rodgers with 42 seconds left and 1 timeout would still go down and get that field goal. That's how much I believe in Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, really, I did. He can do it. 42 seconds.
Absolutely. That's a lot of time on the clock for him.
Yeah. All he needs to do is get a good throw or two. I believe Rodgers would go down and score anyway. So I had all faith in Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, with that game, Coach, my opinion, obviously Bucs lose. Cardinals, Cardinals was a joke. The Saints are a good football team. Yeah, Taysom Hill's probably not a QB, but the Saints are a good physical football team. The Cardinals losing to the Lions is an absolute embarrassment.
Because let me throw that stat out. First time a 1-10-1 team beat a 10-win team by double digits. First time ever.
Right. And, to me, once again, it's going to come into multiple things. And look, obviously Hopkins is hurt, but I think it's two things you got to look at. Cliff Kingsbury and coaching, 1. And 2 years in a row now, Kyler Murray starts off really good, gets nicked up towards the end of the year.
Yep.
And then they take a slide. And look, the Cardinals now got to play the Colts, then the Cowboys, then the Seahawks. So not an easy schedule. The Cardinals and the Niners are breathing down the Cardinals' neck, Coach. So
they're a team you don't want to face. It's a good thing they don't have them on the schedule because right now the Niners are playing lights out. They're playing their Super Bowl year. They're playing that type of football right now.
Niners can beat anybody in football right now. That's
absolutely. But honestly, I always see them beating the Seahawks just because I think the Seahawks are going to have it packed in week 18. Right. That's the only reason that I'm giving them that win. But the Colts have a lot to play for. The Cowboys are still vying for that one, trying to get the 1 seed. Right. So I honestly don't see Arizona getting that winning, but one of those 3 next 3 games.
And I mean, look, you got a big game this week against the Colts on Christmas Day, and the way the Colts are playing and as physical as they are right now, and playing. I mean, look, they only needed Wentz to throw the ball 12 times, and Wentz was not good against the Patriots, and they won that game. I mean, you better step it up. If the Cardinals come half-assed on Saturday, they're going to get it handed to them again. And look, that's one thing the Cardinals struggle with is, run defense. And what the Colts are going to come and do. You're going to see a fresh dose of Jonathan Taylor, Coach.
And the Cowboys going to do the same thing.
Right, yeah. Now, the Cowboys, though, struggling on offense right now, but that defense is playing.
Yes, but when Dak has to throw the ball less than 40 times, they're I think I want to say 9-1.
Yeah. They just need to get and look, Juan, I know you did have no Ben, but that's no excuse to lose to Detroit or even tie Detroit.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's and look, that one tie now, if it's a win, they might. I'm not sure how it would break down, but they might be in the playoffs because they'd be 8-6 instead of 7-6-1. So, but no, I really think after this weekend, Green Bay has placed themselves in the driver's seat. What they do with it, we'll see. But obviously, Green Bay plays the Browns on Saturday on Christmas Day. Then they play the Vikings at home in a revenge game. They lost at Minnesota, and they end the year. I think it might be it's either the Lions or the Bears, I believe, but a winnable game. I think it's the Lions. So, I think the Packers should win the next 3 and have the bye. We'll see. And you know how big that bye is, Coach, now. Yep. Especially with the extra game added on, where you're playing 17 games. To get that bye, it's one less win you got to get, one less game you got to win. And then obviously that 1 week of rest and that extra week of preparation for the coaches because they're obviously preparing for the multiple different teams they can play. I mean, I think Green Bay's in the driver's seat right now in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I tell you who took a big hit was Tom Brady. I mean, was it 2006 the last time he got shut out?
And you know who it was against?
The Eagles?
Nope.
Who was it?
Nick Saban with the Dolphins.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Belichick's Croatian brother, his buddy Nick Saban. Old head, they coached together. Saban was on Belichick's staff in Cleveland.
Right.
So and they're good friends. But yeah, it was against Saban and the Dolphins in 2006. And one thing, and honestly, people are getting mad about it, and I get it. He might not have looked good. I love Brady. The guy's got 7 Super Bowls, and you know how many guys, Coach, would be complacent, and he's just pissed, and I love it. He just has such high standards, and you got to understand when you got guys like Jordan and Brady, they want to rip your heart out. And it's just they don't care. They don't want to lose. They don't want to be embarrassed. They want to win every game. And it's just a competitiveness. And you know what? Yeah, sometimes are they going to look like sore losers? You bet your ass they are. But give me that as my quarterback every day of the week.
I want to say this because I saw someone post this. Oh, when Odell Beckham throws throws things around on the sideline. He's having a temper tantrum. When Tom does it, it's passion. You know what? It is. There's a big difference because Tom's won some stuff. Tom's won some rings, and he's been there, knows how to do it. What have you done? You have to prove it first.
Right.
Because it is just a temper tantrum.
You know why Tom's doing it? Tom's usually doing it. Well, he's not doing it because, he's doing it because they're not winning, not because he's not getting catches.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And usually Odell, it's I'm not getting my targets. I'm not getting my catches. I'm not getting the ball thrown to me. He's not seeing me. It's a selfish thing. With Brady, it's we're not winning. We're not being successful. And look, he's 0-4 against the Saints with the Bucs, in the regular season. I mean, he walked over to Dennis Allen and told him to go F himself. I mean, it was, and look, though, too, and I get it. The one cornerback for the Saints stood in front of him and did the hands thing and, that, and he just laughed at him. I mean, look, it's funny, some of these guys, and the guy's got 7 Super Bowl rings. Like, okay. And you know what Tom cares about? It's simple as this. And look, if you're a Saints fan, yeah, it's great. You're 4-0 in the regular season. But guess what? When it mattered, Tom Brady won. You're 0-1 against Tom Brady in the playoffs to go to the NFC Championship. And that's the one that matters. You know what? I'll take that one win over those 4 losses.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you? In the last 2 years, I'd rather take that one win that took me to the NFC Championship than the 4 losses. So who wins ultimately?
Absolutely.
Tom Brady does, like usual. Yeah. So, now, so like you said about Dallas, and look, what's tough for Tampa Bay too, Coach, you lose, now Dallas is bumped ahead of them. So Tampa would now play, I believe it's the Niners. Yeah, Tampa would play the Niners in the first round now in a tough game. Dallas would get Washington, and Arizona would play the Rams. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of like the road team, except for the Cowboys game, obviously. But I think, I think the Niners would beat the Bucs right now. I really do.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
The Niners are playing very good football. And that's the worst part of it. There's a huge difference between playing the Niners right now and playing the Washington football team. It's just they're playing on all cylinders. Kittle's killing it. That physical brand of football. The Niners are firing all cylinders. So, Tampa better try to regain that number 2 slot, because if not, they might be looking at a one and done playoffs this year.
I agree. Sammy, I agree with that.
Sammy, it just doesn't feel like it's their year. It just doesn't seem like it's the Bucs' year. And look, like I've always said, I'm not in the doubting Tom Brady's business. Can he turn it around? Yes, they still got AB to come in, but man, now Fournette's hurt. But let's see what's going on. Like
I don't know who's the backup there. I thought he played pretty well. Jones played pretty well, so yeah. I think they'll be okay, because this time of year, what does Tom like to do? Running game, Gronk. And as long as those things, I think the rest will work itself out. I think it'll be fine.
But losing Godwin, Coach, come on, he had 100 catches already.
Yeah,
that's a big loss, Coach. That's who he was really clicking with. Now getting AB back is big. If AB can really step up, yeah. If he can step up, that would be big. And no, you're right about Gronk, but Fournette too, man. Let's not forget, down the stretch in the playoffs, Fournette was important. And so this year, too, Fournette's been catching the ball out of the backfield a lot more. He's been running it well. He's a big part of that offense, because it looks like the defense is starting to click now. It really does. But we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, I'm not in the doubting Tom Brady business, but I think Green Bay's in the driver's seat. We'll see if they can keep it. The AFC is in a whole other story. That's a wide open. It's going to be the AFC playoffs are going to be a lot of fun. NFC, I think you're seeing the Cardinals are a lot in trouble. The Rams, we'll see what happens. They got a game tonight against the Seahawks. It'll be an interesting game. But yeah, I think the AFC, man, who would you say in the AFC, Coach?
I mean, I still like New England.
Okay.
I still, even though, because I really like how Mac Jones started off like crap. He's a rookie. But you know what? He battled and came through and almost brought them all the way back. which says a lot coming down the stretch.
Especially when you're frustrated early like he was. I agree with you. I thought, in a loss, he showed a lot. I mean, because you're down 20-0. Sometimes that rookie can just feel overwhelmed and kind of hide a little bit. He battled back, and gave him a chance to win, and that's all you can ask for from a rookie QB, especially in a game of that magnitude. But look, another big game this weekend against the Bills for New England. And look, it's a must-win for them. Got to take this one because, Coach, I like New England, but I don't foresee your rookie QB going on the road 3 weeks in a row.
No, I don't see it 3 weeks in a row, but I think he will be the first since Russell Wilson to win a playoff game. I think they win one.
They need to get that AFC East though, Coach. They can't lose that to the Bills. That's important. So we'll see what happens Sunday. It's going to be a good game. Look, you saw how close it was last time. The Bills are going to be able to throw the ball, I would think, this time. I kind of am leaning towards the Bills, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a good game. But, the team I really like, and I know is the Colts. It's just Wentz scares me. And it's just being honest. The Colts, man, that freaking roster is really, really good. They're really physical. It's just going to be, can Wentz not blow it in the big game? And that's what scares me. It's the truth, Coach.
You're right. Absolutely.
He was bad last game. I mean, he was bad. And if you look at some of these other games they could have won, the Titans, he had a big turnover in that game. The Rams, big turnover in that game. These good teams they play in these tight games. And, if not, they would be at the top of the AFC right now, fighting for a 1 or a 2 seed. But because of Wentz, they're fighting to, make the playoffs. And, look, if the Titans lose Thursday and the Colts win, it gets interesting because now the division's up for play because then they would be tied.
Right.
And they're tied. The Titans beat them twice. So they need to be a game ahead, obviously. But still, Titans then play Miami, and a team who's playing really well too.
Right. They're playing really well right now.
And the Colts play the Raiders. So, I think there's a real possibility if the Titans go into at home with San Francisco and lay an egg, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Titans to beat the Dolphins. And if they don't, man, you could see a team like the Colts basically be back 3 games in 4 weeks. And like that, it's gone.
Yep. They make it exciting. I mean, because what is it really? I mean, if you look at it theoretically, there's 15, 16 teams in the AFC still alive with the last 3 weeks?
No, it's not that many, but I think it's 10. Wait, let me see. I'll tell you right now. I'm looking it up. Just bear with me, Coach. So
I said theoretically. I mean, theoretically, there's still
11, 12. No, you're 13. You're right.
All right, 13, so 13. Coach. I'm pretty close.
That's a lot, though. And what's crazy, Coach? There's 13. Except for Kansas City, there's 12 teams within 2 wins of each other. There's 12 teams between 9-5 and 7-7. That's wild. Wild. So the next couple of weeks are going to be nuts. It's going to be, and all these teams play each other. That's why the Raiders, people are hopeful they have a shot because the Raiders have the tiebreaker over the Ravens, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Browns, and now they get to play the Colts and the Chargers. Obviously, this weekend they had the Broncos who are below them, but still the Colts and Chargers are some of the teams directly ahead of them. I just don't see them beating the Colts and Chargers.
I agree. Can't do two things at once, me.
Why don't you just answer them and put it up?
Yes, you're right. All right, I'm trying to type it in. Juan, I think Cincinnati wins the AFC North.
Well, you're going to find that out Sunday because they got a home game against the Ravens,
right?
And they need to handle their business. And, Coach, that's one thing I want to talk about, too, in regards to the Ravens. Do you relook at giving Lamar Jackson a long-term deal?
No, I don't think so. But I tell you what, here is the thing I like because here's what
if Lamar's playing on Sunday, they get killed, Coach.
He's not playing. Huntley's going to play.
No, if Lamar was your starting quarterback against the Packers, they'd have got smoked. But Huntley can throw the ball. Lamar can't. He can't throw the ball, Coach. I understand you're a good rushing team and he's a dynamic player, But, man, I just don't know if he's ever going to make you a Super Bowl contender.
All right, but you made the bed, you're going to lie in it. And I think they did a great job of finding a backup that is like him. You don't have to change the offense. Like, look, the Giants, look what they have. Mike Glennon is not Daniel Jones. He can't run the read option like Daniel Jones. You have to revamp the offense for him. So, and teams like that. But I think they did a good job of getting the same guy in there. So I'm not. I mean, the Ravens, they're I'm okay with it.
All right. No, I mean, look, I just think, I understand this. With Lamar and the running game and the defense, you're going to win. They're always going to win games. And look, I think Harbaugh might be the most underrated coach in football. I mean, for them to be in all the games they've been in this year, especially that game last week against the Packers, kudos to John Harbaugh. I mean, look, he really hasn't. I know you had Flacco there, and he played some decent football, but he hasn't had that franchise top 5 QB. He's won a Super Bowl. The Ravens are in the thick of the things every year. I mean, he's been over 500 every year in his career. I mean, John Harbaugh is just an unbelievable coach. And to me, he's a top 5 coach. I mean, really does a great job.
100%. I agree with it. 100%, man.
And look at all the injuries too, Coach. They've had to deal with the last 2 years. Look, Juan, that's everybody's opinion. I understand what you're saying, but I just think he was playing playing the emotions of the team, playing what they wanted to do. And I think he thought Huntley was going to go make a play.
I agree with that 100%. I do. I agree with them making the play, going for it on 4th down. I'm not questioning that. I mean, come on. We said earlier, Aaron Rodgers is going to beat you. Eventually he's going to get you. You got to take your shots when you have them. And that was it.
Yeah. And that's the one thing, Coach. And I love the line you said about Parcells. It's so true. And that's what the Packers did. They did the prevent defense and let the Ravens get in it. Rodgers had Lazard for a touchdown and missed him. And a pass you don't see Rodgers not make, a lot. I mean, he had him, and he missed him. It was 14, and then they just kept letting them get 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, and then all of a sudden it's one touchdown, and then Green Bay went 3 and out. I think LaFleur thought, they're not stopping Rodgers. They got their 3 and out,
right.
And then obviously they go down and tie the game. It's the truth, man. When you play prevent defense, the only thing it does is prevent you from winning.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And I never understood it, Coach. Look, if you're up 3 or 4 scores, I get it. You don't want to give up the big play. But when it's in one of these 2-score games, Coach, I just don't understand why these coaches do it. Why do you go away from what's been working all game?
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. There's no need to change. You put the pedal to the metal and keep it going. Go for the jugular and keep it on. Yeah. But
Coach, and one thing I wanted to talk about too, and I know he has had a head coaching job before with the Rams, but I wonder, do you think Spags gets some looks this year with how he's turned around that Chiefs defense?
Absolutely. 100%. I agree. Just hopefully it's not with the Giants. I love Spags, love him to death. I just think there's so much dysfunction with the Giants right now. I don't want to speculate. Let's see who the GM is, but before we do that,
Coach, can you name me a defensive coordinator that you've seen can just coach a defense up over the course of a year and have the growth his teams have had? He's had Giants defenses that were giving up 30 points a year by at the end of the season winning Super Bowls. Same thing with Chiefs. I mean, to me, number 1 defensive coordinator in football, no doubt.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Yes.
I mean, 3 Super Bowls, been in 4, and he's beaten Brady twice. Not many guys can say that.
Right. That's right. He's 2-1 in Super Bowls against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And let's not only this year, and I mean this year's not done, but they talked about how bad the defense was. Now all of a sudden that defense is playing lights out. But if you go back to Giants, their last Super Bowl when he was the defensive coordinator. They were talking about firing him after week 2 because they couldn't stop a faucet from running. I mean, it was bad, and then it turned around. So
yeah, Brian, he was the defensive coordinator in New York.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
he had 2 stints there. He did come back and was there.
He was there for both Super Bowls, right?
He was there both Super Bowls, left, but then he came back to be the defensive coordinator the last year when they fired what's his name, McApoo, or what is his name? Yeah.
McApoo.
Listen, Jack Del Rio. Sammy, come on, man. Jack's good, but he's good. But he's no Spags, okay?
Yeah. It's like Dick LeBeau, man. Dick LeBeau with his Pittsburgh Steelers defense, man. Dick LeBeau was a hell of a 3-4 defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious to see if he gets some looks. I know a lot of these teams now, it's about getting that young offensive mind and then trying to get the veteran defensive coordinator. And I get it because, obviously with the quarterback's the most important position on the team. It can't hurt. You look at some of these defensive guys. Tomlin's doing pretty good. Look, obviously Harbaugh's a special teams guy, but still Belichick's a defensive guy. Yeah. Flores is a defensive guy. It's not, Pete Carroll is a defensive guy. All these guys are, been very successful in the league. So, I don't think it necessarily has to be that young offensive mind because a lot of times, in my opinion, it doesn't work. It really doesn't. Now, Coach, 2 games tonight, obviously. My Eagles and Eagles kind of got screwed a little bit because now Washington gets Sweat back. Sammy, you heard me. Eagles got screwed a little bit. They get Montez Sweat back and Jonathan Allen, and now the Eagles have lost one of their linemen who would have played Sunday and won't play today. And obviously now we got to play your Giants, who, we should beat the Giants, but now we got to play them on a short week, Coach. So I think the Eagles kind of got screwed a little bit. And, they said they were going to punish these teams that, obviously didn't follow COVID protocol and had outbreaks, but they changed their mind when it, I guess it meant for playoff.
When it dips into their pocket, that's when it becomes, they have to change the rules, and actually the Eagles are set to make history tonight. They have the most Tuesday night games in NFL history tonight with starting their 3rd Tuesday night game.
And look, the last one was not good. The last one, Michael Vick was the quarterback, and all I remember. And that's what worries me. It was with a 3rd-string quarterback, Joe Webb, from the Vikings, came into Philly, and once they're coming, Washington's coming into Philly. So I am nervous. Well,
Blaine Gabbert is a former number 1. Isn't he number 1, number 2 overall pick for the Giants?
Is that who's starting tonight?
Yeah.
I don't think – was it Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert is the starter tonight. Is that Sammy? Who's starting tonight? Put it up.
So he was the 1st-round pick of the Jaguars, obviously.
Yes, but I think he was like 1 or 2 overall, wasn't he? Like he was a top 5, I think. Yeah, Gabbert.
Okay. Yeah, Joe Webb. And what's funny is it's almost around this time. It was December 28th, 2010. He came in and played against the Eagles. Ugh. I'll never forget that game. That was not good. I remember Rendell. Yeah, see, I told you it's not Gabbert. I knew it wasn't Gabbert, Sammy. Who is it? He's got a name like that, but it's like Blaine something. That I'm going to look it up now. I got to find out because Coach, once again, Coach, fucking things up.
Yep, of course, man.
Hold on, let me find it because Coach, Coach is Coach.
Let me see.
Coach giving the wrong information again. We're used to it, Sammy. You know how it goes, buddy. Missed game. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, Gilbert. How do you get that? Garrett Gilbert. How do you get Blaine Garrett from Garrett Gilbert?
Garrett Gilbert, Blaine Gabbert, close enough. They're both the
Blaine
same.
Gabbert? It's Blaine Gabbert. These are terrible.
Garrett Gilbert. Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
All right. My bad.
We'll see how he does. Yeah, but hopefully an Eagles win tonight. But you know how it is, man. You never know in NFL. Look at the Cardinals game. Look at the Bucs game. I mean, you never know. Look at the game yesterday with the Raiders. I mean, Browns almost pulled that one off. So, got to play the game first.
Yeah, and he had the same exact QBR as your starter, Johnny Manziel, same guy, Manziel. I don't even know his name now. I can't even think of his name.
Johnny what?
The Cleveland quarterback.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Baker Mayfield. Yeah,
Johnny Manziel. You all right, Coach?
Man, I tell you what, man.
Like this.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
I'll tell you, man. Washington head coach. Yeah, Ron
Rivera. Yeah, Rivera.
That's a good point, Brian. Well, look, I don't got a problem with defensive head coaches. I don't. I think defense is how you win championships, obviously. It's just what you can't do is you see a lot of these defensive guys, they come in and they have these really good defenses, and then the offense is so poor, it's just,
right.
It's so out of whack. That's what you can't have. You need to have a viable offense, obviously. But, look, I got no problem, with a defensive head coach.
And we'll see where the carousel lands. When it starts up next week.
And it's already started. There's a lot of rumors. You talked about it last week. A lot of rumors about Byron Leftwich.
Look, if Leftwich is not the coach of Jacksonville, there's something wrong. I'm sorry, man. That's
I mean, look, and with Leftwich too, I think you take the job. You have familiarity with Jacksonville, with the organization.
Mm-hmm.
You got Trevor Lawrence. You're going to have the first or second round. The first or the number
second
one
number two pick. Yeah,
number two pick. Excuse me. They have $70 million in cap room, plenty of room. Money to spend and build your team. To me, that's where I would probably head. Unless one of these other jobs come open, like a Broncos or a New Orleans, which I don't think Peyton's leaving. But you never know. One of those more interesting jobs open up. I would think about Jacksonville. But to me, the only thing I question in Jacksonville, I know everybody likes him, Coach, and look, it's hard to kind of evaluate him right now in Jacksonville. It looks like a bird flapping by your head. I don't know why it is, but it's really weird. But I don't know, man. Trevor Lawrence don't look too good. I know he's on a bad team, but usually you would see flashes of, wow, he's still like, look at Luck when he came into Indy. Have you seen that out of him, Coach? I don't think I have.
I haven't either. So, and honestly, I think he's a product of the system. He's the product of the system in Clemson, and now you're seeing it in the NFL. It's not translating.
Yeah. And so in regards to tonight's game, pick wise, I think 8.5. I agree with Brian. I think 8.5 is too much. If I had to bet, I would probably take the points in that game. But I'm going to go with the Eagles -2.5, and with the Rams -1 in a tease. Rams-Seahawks, both games. You're talking about two divisional games, two teams that usually play each other tight. You don't want to lay over a touchdown or more. So I'm real leery about laying the points tonight.
All right, good stuff from Nevada Nick. Good stuff. So,
who do you like tonight there? King of locks.
Well, honestly, I think the Rams got a couple of key guys back from COVID. So I think obviously the Rams win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be an easy one. And the other one, I really don't care. They're both NFC rivals, NFC East rivals. So I really don't really care much of who wins. But, and I mean, the Eagles are the better team, so they should. But, but again, the Eagles do kind of lay an egg sometimes when it comes to these big must-win games.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. It'll be interesting, But then we'll see what happens on Sunday when we play the lowly Giants. So
yeah,
and we're gonna lay it on your ass after that. You guys got last time. The Eagles are gonna lay it on you guys this Sunday. I guarantee it. Even on short rest.
All right, Jake Fromm starting this week.
Yeah, and I know it was at sweep up time. I thought Jake Fromm didn't look too bad, honestly. I know, but
what took so long to put him in the game? That's my problem.
Yeah, I agree.
As bad as Glennon, 3 bad games. I mean, it was bad after bad. What took so long to put him in?
Yeah,
that's my problem.
I agree
with that. It couldn't get any worse.
Yeah.
So, but sorry, Jared, we're getting ready to finish up, buddy. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Yep. So listen, everyone, we will not be on until Sunday after Christmas. Mm-hmm. So this is our last show before Christmas. Yep. So I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. We will see everyone after Christmas on Sunday morning, our regular time, 10 a.m. Stiz will be with us.
Yep.
And
look at this, Jared lobbying for Coach to be the GM of the Giants.
Yeah, man.
Jared, Pittsburgh's still alive, buddy.
I put my application is already in. So Merry Christmas, Jared.
And
Merry Christmas.
Quick, too. I like the Colts on Saturday. I like the Colts. I think they're going to go in and beat Arizona. They're getting the point. And Packers versus Browns, like the Packers as well. I don't know if I'd lay the 7. I definitely like them in a tease, but I'll take the Packers too. So I'll go Packers and Colts on Christmas Day.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Be safe. Enjoy the games tonight, Thursday and Saturday. And we'll be here to recap it Sunday morning as we get into week 16, a quick turnaround. So Merry Christmas, everyone, and be safe. We'll see you. Make sure you share with your friends. Tell everybody, ring the bell down below, subscribe, like the page, tell your friends. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.